We're back in
Hi,
the
everybody.
we were back in the neoliberal whammon war room, aka Meg's bedroom.
Sans Meg.
Sans Meg. Meg is Skyping
Meg is
in
abroad
remotely.
once again.
Yeah.
Our momager.
Yeah. She's abroad. Broad Plaza.
We're all broads.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about Joshua Kushner's recent upcoming nuptials to Carly Kloss, Victoria's Secret angel.
Nazi.
Nazi.
Nazi Barbie, much like his brother's fine wife Ivanka Trump.
Yeah, Carly and Ivanka. Carly's like the Ava Braun of women in STEM.
What's her coding school for girls called?
It's called, well, she runs a media, fashion, and philanthropic empire called Klossy, and under that with a K, and under that umbrella, she has an initiative called Code with Klossy, which also code is spelled with a K, which is a coding camp for girls.
What else is Klossy up to?
I think it's like a Goop-like empire where they offer fashion advice and probably feminist hot takes, and they are also dabbling in a little bit of philanthropy.
There's no way Carly knows how to code, right?
No, there's no way. Well, I
don't believe any of these chicks know how to code.
Yeah,
I think
barely.
They had a partnership with the Flatiron School, that coding school in New York.
This is true. I have a story about that, but yeah, women can barely run a podcast. How are they supposed to code?
I resent that comment.
No, Meg, you're doing amazing,
You're doing
sweetie.
amazing,
We would, as Dasha and I always say, we would still be texting each other back and forth.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have
we
had
should start a podcast.
If I wouldn't have had a full-time job for half of this and was physically in New York, I would be better. But here we are.
We're doing great. No complaints.
I'm not complaining. I 100% believe that Meg is more technically skilled than Carly Kloss. I don't think that this woman knows how to. I'm convinced she doesn't know how to open up a computer or use a digital camera. She's a model.
I don't even believe that she's good at sex.
Yeah, she doesn't. She can't be. Those people don't have sex. They're like insects.
She's like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Where I can't imagine her having any actual viable sexuality. They're friends also.
They're BFFs, yeah.
Oh, gross. Is a code for Klossy related to Cars for Kids with a case?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Hasidic racket, turns out, for the Kushners.
For the Kushner family.
For the protocols of the Elders of Zion. This is a remarkable kind of marriage or future marriage engagement because Jared Kushner or Joshua Kushner is like
he's a businessman as well.
He's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, he's a Jew, and Carly Kloss is like my Germanic Freudian nightmare, like even that name, Carly Kloss.
Carly Kloss.
It makes me think of like a Fassbender movie about like a sadomasochistic widow, like that's what she sounds like. I don't think that anybody who's like so into being like a girl boss and helping girls code could possibly be good at sex, but it's really funny that they're entering into this trad union because both Joshua and Carly are like helming empires that basically promote precarity and neoliberalization among millennials.
Joshua Kushner's company invested in, or a big investment, Hims.
Hims, yeah.
Which is the other like boner pill, anti-baldness.
Yeah.
Subway ad campaign company.
Wait, which company?
So here's
It's Hims. You've
Hims.
seen all the cactuses, like the flaccid cactuses on Subway ads.
So here's a quote from the New York Times article, which was titled "Entrepreneurs to Wed," which is hilarious because he's like literally the scion of a rich real estate family, and she's a supermodel. But she runs Klossy, a fashion media and philanthropic startup best known for Code for Klossy. It's coding camp for girls, and continues to model. he is the founder of Thrive Capital, which has invested in startups like Hims, an online marketplace that sells solutions for hair loss, erectile dysfunction, and skincare for young men shy of their local pharmacists. And Grailed, a resale site for cult streetwear and anything bearing the label Supreme.
Adam buys clothing. on
Oh,
Oh,
he
God.
would. He would. That's where all those bucket hats and Air Maxes come from.
And he recently bought like a Burberry shirt, but with like a big plaid print. Kind
Wait,
of like
that's really
a
hot.
Chinese guy.
I love that look.
um,
He's also the founder of the health insurance company Oscar Health, one of the startups in which Thrive invested. So these people really like represent the worst of like neoliberalism and its misguided assault on like traditional gender roles and traditional labor dynamics. She's like basically selling women on this like capitalist fairy tale that their ticket to freedom is like learning to code and going into the STEM sciences. And he's selling men on the idea that it's okay to be a bitch.
to not get it up.
Yeah, to have like a beauty routine. It's like the reason you have erectile dysfunction, you faggot, is because you're like taking too many like like hormonal supplements and applying makeup every morning. I wouldn't be able to get it up either if I was like Tom Sandoval, like shaving my forehead and putting on a spray tan.
Or some like Brooklynite beardo who's like desperately trying to get it up for some Tinder sex he
Yeah.
doesn't even want.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to throw this out there. If anyone knows any connections with Hims, we are willing to do
we will run
advertisements
ads. Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
We have
Hims and
absolutely no
hers.
scruples.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to get some
Um,
biotin gummy supplements from Hims.
Do they sell those?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, nice.
Meg, they'll make you trans. Watch out.
I only know
Um,
this because Brad was like, "Can you get me some Hims?" And I was like, "No." But it turns
Just
out
for the biotin.
it was for the biotin and the hair loss stuff. I didn't know they had so
Oh.
many different products. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's like,
ED.
It's like Glossier for men.
yeah.
ED
That's
is just a
insane.
little part of it.
But you know, Hims and it has a competitor, Roman. You may have seen the Subway ads. I think the Roman ads are a little bit less effective than the Hims ads because the Hims are like very Postmates. They're like that kind of millennial pink undesign.
Yeah.
It's like close-ups of people's mouths and fingernails and stuff. Dicks. They should just run dick pics.
Basically.
Wait, is Roman just ED like OTC?
Ronan's just telemedicine.
Yeah.
ED pills. That you
So
can
they don't
get.
do hair loss either.
I
No.
don't know. That's a good question, but I don't think
Ronan's
so.
just boner pills.
Oh, okay.
Boner pills.
But in that article, they also mention how Carly Kloss is notoriously very discreet, like a
Private,
very
yeah.
private person, and how that is significant with her new fiance because they are ostensibly like not in cahoots with the Trumps.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of
Because she's
ideological
like
conflict.
'cause she's
Yeah.
like a guns rights activist, and they went to
Oh.
like the women's march together and shit. So I think the way that they reconcile that cognitive dissonance is just by not acknowledging.
Yeah,
it
they
all
just
and saying
ignore
that they're
it.
Private.
So she, according to this article, she is known for her quote carefully cultivated privacy, and she cites a famous line by Carolina Herrera, the fashion designer: "A woman who's an open book is boring." That's what I always tell myself when I am tempted to post like pics of my butthole on Instagram stories.
Boring.
But yeah, I guess. But they
a
also
woman with a
report.
gaping asshole is so boring.
Yeah.
Leave a little to the imagination.
Yeah. I gotta whale tail it, as Dasha says. But they talk about how her privacy may just as likely derive from the ideological gap that separates her
Mhm.
and reportedly her fiance from her future brother and sister-in-law, the Washington Kushners. So yeah, and they Joshua and Carly attended a gun violence protest planned by the survivors of the Parkland High School shooting,
Mhm.
and they went to the 2017 Women's March, and Kloss is also notably with her. She's a big Hillary stan.
hashtag with
Yeah,
her. Interesting.
yeah, and the youngest Kushner is no. Yeah, the youngest Kushner is known to veer Democratic on the basis of his political donations. So they're garden variety libs, yeah, which makes sense. But the funny thing is, like, the New York Times reporting this as some sort of meaningful ideological difference to their audience of like dementia, jazz hole baby boomers, and like tote bag liberals, because at some point after you get that rich, ideology ceases to matter.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, all it goes without saying, Democrats and Republicans
Yeah,
might as well be the same thing.
there's no difference between at this point between being like a rich Hillary supporter and a rich Trump supporter, and in this case a literal member of the Trump extended family.
But it is interesting to still sort of keep airs about being, having more decorum than their extended family.
Yeah,
by being with her, etc.
I think Karlie Kloss is probably so boring that she has to cultivate this carefully crafted air of mystery, because if you like peel back the layers, there's literally nothing there.
Just a void.
I hear she keeps a book of Hitler's speeches by the nightstand. I mean, like, it's horrible because I have my like running repertoire of fanfic that I write about, like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, and how I picture them, rifle butting me and my quivering infant into a mass grave. I'm like a broken record at this point. But Karlie Kloss is definitely, her and Taylor Swift are definitely the women I imagine the concentration camp wardens in my weird sadomasoch fantasy. Like, I see this woman's face and my first impulse is to like cower under some floorboards.
Up in an attic.
So yeah, I'm like writing in my diary with my Peter Pan collar.
She does have a very scary, like pointy, mean face.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's like, I was telling Dasha earlier, like, of all the hot, juicy fruit butt Victoria's Secret angels to choose from, why is she the most prominent one?
Well, I guess because of her the girl bossery.
Yeah,
is what I would wager to guess. And maybe there is something like in the dominant culture that where her face and like rail thin frame.
I'm not opposed to the rail thin frame.
Me neither.
Let's get that
Yeah.
straight. we like her brittle arms and like protruding spine and clavicles. It's just the face is terrifying. And there's like dozens of other girls who are as rail thin, right?
Sure. Yeah, I don't get entirely what it is that like makes her above a normal garden variety model.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
She has a moody gait.
Does she?
What's that?
I guess so.
What's a moody gait?
The gait, the way she walks.
Oh.
Like a gait.
Cool.
When you're talking about horses, they have different gaits.
She's kind of horsey.
Yeah. She looks like she has Marfan's disease.
What's that?
It's like weird long
like what
limbs.
Joey Ramone had.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like Cara Delevingne, I get because she's got like, she's at least like simulating like she has a personality by like sticking her tongue out a lot.
Sticking her tongue up women's
Being a
vaginas.
lesbian.
And like being a lesbian, like wearing a big saggy beanie or something. But Carly, I guess, yeah.
The real L word.
She's just an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think that's what she is. I have a feeling that these people are going to like run for office at one point or another. Maybe she'll be the VP to President Angelina Jolie and her like stable of children. I have
The future isn't it's not concentration camps, it's coding camps.
Yeah, exactly. As a friend of mine once said, how can gender be over if the future is female?
Touche.
But I have a funny story about the Kushners, which is that when I was hostessing down in Nolita, the Secret Service called our restaurant and was like, listen, we're like interested in renting the room for a client. I assumed it was going to be some sort of cop convention, like a Hunter S. Thompson, like thick neck, bald asshole convention. And a week or two later, these guys show up with like earpieces, and this man walks in like an hour before opening and insists on sitting there, and it turns out it's Jared Kushner's dad, Charlie. And pretty soon, like, the whole family was in there. They had lunch. This is like truly an anecdote because nothing happened.
Yeah.
But
lunch though, that's interesting.
they had, or dinner rather, they had dinner.
Okay. Less interesting.
With their whole family. What struck me the most though was that the parents they didn't look Jewish at all. They looked very American Gothic. Like, you can picture them holding a pitchfork, you know. But I definitely thought Joshua was the hottest one. I remember him walking in and being like, "Whoa, who's that foxy Ashkenazi man?"
He looks like a Jewish bully.
He does, yeah.
Like an upwardly mobile, kind of smarmy Jew with a bad attitude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's like a waspy Jew.
Charlie is kind of hot.
The dad.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Dad looks like a Norman Rockwell painting, but Joshua is like very hot. And of course,
Jared's hot too.
He's okay. He's kind of a chicken shit. He had his moments. He has the possibility of like producing really attractive children though, because he has like good features.
Yeah, he has.
But no, Joshua is like very hot, but he, you know, I'm extra miffed that he's marrying Carly Kloss because this plays into my self-affirming negative narcissism that like hot Jewish guys will always date awful Germanic looking wenches. Yeah. But anyway, they came in, and one of the most sinister things was that Jared was literally outside in the street picking up random people's kids because he knew that there was like paparazzi
For like photo ops.
Yeah. He was like chasing down Puerto Rican children on the street.
In Nolita
in his like giant suit. Like, this man can't find a well-fitting suit because he's so skinny.
Very, very cunning, those Kushners. Yeah,
Cunning with a K.
With a K.
Keeping up with the Kushners.
Charlie was literally in prison.
I know.
The father.
Wait, for what?
He he's like a big time New Jersey, like he's basically a New Jersey mafioso because everybody in the state of New Jersey, like John Corzine, Chris Christie, they're all basically mobbed up.
It was like illegal campaign contributions, like tax evasion, witness tampering. He was in federal prison.
He was, for what was it, for like 18 months. I think he also, the most incredible thing that Charlie Kushner ever did was he blackmailed his brother-in-law by sending a hooker to his house, I think, and getting it on tape. Yeah, these guys are like the real deal. Like, unlike Trump, the Kushners are really remarkable because unlike Trump, they do hide behind this veneer of civility and decorum. Like, they look very
Judaism.
classy. Judaism, yeah. Wow. Reform Judaism. But they are actually completely like 2-bit bottom barrel gangsters.
Is there another Kushner brother that one of us could date?
Unfortunately, there
No.
isn't. Like
Just
the
the
third
two.
property brother with the
Maybe.
emo haircut.
There's a-
alt Kushner.
There's a nephew, Mark Kushner.
Mark
How is he
Kushner.
looking?
Let's
He's-
look this guy up.
He's an architect.
He's an
Ooh,
architect.
I like the
I like
sound-
the
that.
sound of that.
Fake job.
He's not very cute, but
He's not really doing
country
it for me.
girls make do.
Mhm.
So yeah, the Kushners. What else do we have to say about the Kushners?
Ivanka's fashion line went under this week too.
Yeah, that's a shame. I really love the Ivanka Trump fashion line.
Do?
Yeah, because, well, back in the day when I was a working girl, by which I mean an office slave, not prostitute,
Yeah.
I used to buy Ivanka Trump shoes, which were passable knockoffs of like Jimmy Choo's or Manolo Blahniks. I'm
Kitten
not...
heels.
Yeah, kitten heel, like a nice, classy, pointy toe kitten heel thing that made you feel like you were Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Mhm.
And, you know, like, not all of us are Audrey Gelman, so we can't afford the real deal. So, you know, the Ivanka Trump was the place to go for
And where did you procure the shoes? Just online or?
Nordstrom's, Macy's, Zappos.com, shoes.com, anywhere.
I
well-
had a trench coat, an Ivanka Trump trench coat.
How'd that
Oh, wow.
go?
It was very poorly made,
Really?
and I had to
Interesting.
modify some of the details on it that were a little bit tacky. But
Well, my dad
Um,
told me today that Ivanka Trump's clothing line will be given away or sold at a fire sale. So maybe we could buy it.
Maybe we can.
oh, fun!
Oh yeah, we could make it the Red Scare clothing
Yeah.
line.
Red Scare kitten heel.
Yeah. I think, yeah, why not? The Red Scare t-shirt with like a sock boot, Balenciaga style. But
This has a future.
this is, it's the liberals. The liberals did this to Ivanka Trump by selling her line for scraps at Wayfair or wherever,
Mhm.
Family Dollar. It's kind of
Kmart.
like, well, I think, listen, nobody in the fashion industry is clean. Karlie Kloss models for Dolce & Gabbana, who are known racists.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Homophobes.
and wait, I thought they were gay.
But they want like traditional families.
Oh yeah, they're into that whole like the Italian, the Mama Roma, like
Exactly, yeah.
woman with
I mean, Victoria's Secret. There's
Yeah.
no way that's not sewn by like child.
Wait.
labors,
slaves.
yeah.
But as two Slavic trash ladies, are you offended
Hello?
that Karlie Kloss has a campaign with Adidas?
I'm just jealous.
It's the Stella McCartney Adidas mashup,
oh,
Right,
then I
yeah.
don't care.
which has never really
Yeah.
resonated with me.
Stella McCartney is a designer that I like more for her convictions and ideologies than for her actual clothes, which I think are kind of boring and whack.
Yeah.
The only person I've seen like look good in Stella McCartney is friend of the pod, Petra
Petra.
Cortray.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't with like those tread-soled shoes that every Korean girl in like Midtown is wearing.
Do you guys remember Petra's wedding dress?
I don't know.
It was like I thought it was like separates. It was like a top and a skirt, and the
Ooh.
skirt had like floral details. But it was I really liked the way she combined a white with an off white. thought that was a really-
yeah, that seems interesting. Riveting
Nice
for our
look
male
for her.
listeners. They're like, I didn't know you could mix navy with black.
So
But yeah, no, as I was saying, I think that it's hypocritical to condemn Ivanka's business if you're going to buy fashion literally anywhere else.
Right.
And if you're going to,
yeah, it's symbolic. It's like the Dear Ivanka
yeah,
campaign as well.
which
It's
was horrifying, yeah.
like
But you can't, you can't exactly like patronize Ava Brown's coding camp or, Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness brand and then kind of turn your back on Ivanka Trump's sensible utilitarian basics for American working women.
speaking of
Yeah.
successful business people.
Good seg.
There was thank
Yeah.
you. There was a Gwyneth Paltrow profile in the New York Times recently as well. That was much discussed amongst our milieu.
Yeah. Wait, what
Of
is our
media-
milieu?
Like media types,
Yeah.
women,
Women.
women.
Media whores. Anyway, go on, Dasha.
I am a fan of Gwyneth Paltrow. I do find her to be luminous, and I don't mind her elitism. So it was a interesting read for me. It made me a little nervous about like our forthcoming profile because I saw the way that the writer would like describe seemingly mundane things that
In such a derisive
yeah,
manner.
that
It was
Gwyneth Paltrow
so
did that made them seem really weighted and meaningful, and like taking her shoes off or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She I think she describes her as like combining finally taking the plunge in 2014 and combining the two sides of Gwyneth, which was like the hot yoga, Reiki healer, hormonal supplements Gwyneth, and then the Gwyneth who wanted a $2,000 bag made of straw.
Yeah.
So it was like Gwyneth the hippie peacekeeper, and then Gwyneth the craven materialist.
But that's all part of like wellness.
Yeah.
As like a
Radical wellness.
radical wellness.
Here is the author's description of wellness. Summer solstice sales, yoga in the park, yoga at work, yoga in Times Square, which is peak wellness.
Mhm.
When people give you namaste hands and bow as a way of saying thank you. The organic produce section of Whole Foods, hemp, Oprah, CBD, bodywork, Reiki, Soul Cycle, acai, antioxidants, the
Yum.
phrase mind body meditation, the mindfulness jar my son brought home from school, kombucha, chai, juice bars, oat milk, almond milk, all the milks from substances that can't technically be milked, clean anything, living your best life, living your truth, crystals.
Yeah.
I
It's like
really-
a Kathy comic. Like,
It is. I love her
so
disdain.
Many milks.
So much plant milk.
I have to get pregnant soon because for two reasons, because I want to use my own breast milk in my cold brew.
Mhm.
And then also I had the inspiration that I'm naming my child Zizek,
Oh.
the firstborn. And then
So Zizek is going to be his
Yeah.
name because his father
Oh,
will
that's
also
so
be
flattering,
Zizek.
Dasha. He's going to be like the Northern Alliance commander, Abdullah. And then I'm naming the second one Acai.
Ooh, beautiful name for a boy or a girl.
Yeah, they're both. I think they're both gender neutral.
Yeah.
They could work. I was inspired.
Your
because
children will
I'm-
be the third sex. We're not even.
Yeah.
They're not even gonna be gender neutral.
They're just gonna have huge breasts and micro penises. Because I'm very hormonally imbalanced, guys. But
You should get your pussy steamed
yeah.
like GP.
Jade roll.
Oh, the yoni steaming. I've always wanted
That
to
sounds
try that.
really nice to me, by the way.
Yeah.
Actually.
to get your vagina steamed.
Yeah.
What do they do? What's
You
the process?
sit on kind of like a low metal bench with like, slates, and then it steams your vagina.
A schwitz for the
And it cures
snatch.
all the
Oy
stress.
vey.
Hopefully it cures all the strains of HPV I have.
That's Gwyneth Paltrow's new business model. She should really get into the STD market now that ED is such a huge thing.
Well, Hims, by the way, also sells cold sore medicine.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I did see
They have
that
a
one.
cold sore pack you can get.
That's
Um,
disgusting. Like getting a cold sore pack delivered with your Seamless before you eat out your
For your-
Tinder date.
Oh my god.
Anna, you have to stop STI shaming on this podcast. Our
Why is
listeners
that?
all have herpes.
Nothing. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. It's not even that big of a deal. I'm like very anti-herpes stigma.
Me too. I don't really care. I'm 32. I don't give a shit about STDs anymore.
Yeah.
Like this is tangential to our topic of girl bossery and wellness, but like there's such a huge alarmist stigma over STDs, and like literally everybody in New York has them.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. And if you don't, you're gonna get one eventually.
Or yeah, you're very lucky if you haven't.
Yeah, but it's always the people who fuck the most who don't have any STDs, which seems unfair. That seems like
I don't know where you got that data from.
I don't know. It just seems like it.
Personal
so-
experience.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm out here fucking and sucking behind the White Castle. Hit that Patreon button, guys.
condoms are gross.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gwyneth Paltrow would agree with me.
Yeah, I wonder if Gwyneth Paltrow uses condoms.
No, there's a part in that article where she describes like the backlash against sort of her like alternative medicine,
Uh-huh.
and quotes some doctor who's like, it shouldn't matter where your latex comes from. What matters is like that you protect yourself from STIs and whatnot.
She
But
probably
Gwyneth Paltrow definitely doesn't. She's like a consciously uncoupled and now newly engaged woman.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this conscious uncoupling and engagement. Before we do that, I would like to say to our young impressionable listeners, here's some factoids. Here's the truth about like sex in New York or in
Here we
any
go.
major
Sex
city.
ed. Listen up,
Yeah.
kids.
Anna's sex ed hour. Number 1, everybody has HPV. Number 2, most people have herpes. Number 3, nobody uses condoms.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
not even
And-
lambskin or sheepskin's condoms.
Yeah.
Pulling out is just as effective as using a condom.
Oh yeah, it absolutely
if
is.
not more so, because condoms break. Just make sure that your pullout game is strong.
Okay.
And
I don't
you'll be
agree with
fine.
you guys, but I'll just put
I
that
will
out
say
there.
on that
You don't think
note,
pulling out's effective?
No, it's not. It's not.
It is.
It's
It's totally
statistically it
effective.
is not.
Well, I've done a lot of research.
Well, you should get an IUD.
all right, let's not. I don't believe in birth control. I think it's like one of the single most harmful things that's been unleashed on a Western womanhood.
I live life
it's
as
a-
a man. I don't have a period.
I know, but Meg, that's like horrible. I think women should have periods, and who knows what the hormonal repercussions of being on the pill for 10 years or more
Well,
will
I
be.
get to
There's
have-
virtually no
She's
research
has
on
an
this.
IUD, but
I
also
get-
Either way-
relatively new technology.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
releasing
4 to
hormones
5
into your
more
bloodstream.
proactive girl boss days that month than you.
You probably have a lot more proactive
That's
girl.
yeah,
boss
you
days.
probably do, just by virtue of being a more proactive girl boss of a woman. But
Actually, we all cry a lot.
we all cry a lot. Yeah, but listen, I do everything that normal people do on my period. I go to the gym. I cook my own meals.
I'm
I-
just as debilitated not being on my period as
Yeah.
being on it. So
So okay, let's talk about who's Gwyneth's new fiance?
he's some producer.
Okay.
I don't have my notes to be real. But her
but-
ex-husband is Chris Martin of Coldplay,
Mm-hmm.
who she met at a Coldplay concert after the death of her father. She was very moved. My guess is by The Scientist was the song that was playing, but whatever. That's my own like fan fiction that I wrote about it.
She dates a guy named Brad. He's a television writer.
Oh, cool.
I don't, just throwing that out there. Sorry.
They seem happy. Chris Martin's still in the picture because they have children together, so they're co-parenting, and they did something called conscious uncoupling, which is like, I guess what people do when they get divorced, but try to like maintain respect for the other person's journey or whatever. I tried to consciously uncouple with my last boyfriend. I emailed him the article from Goop about conscious uncoupling. And he didn't really want to have anything to do with me, so it didn't work out. Both people have to want to like remain in each
Mutually
other's lives.
consciously uncouple. All of my exes are still in my life, which sucks because they're annoying.
It sounds like you've done some conscious
I
uncoupling.
only do conscious uncoupling, but I never, conscious uncoupling is not for poor people.
It's not what?
Yeah, I mean, it's like ideally you do it with like a therapist or something, or some kind of mediator,
Oh,
where instead of you
okay.
say like, we're breaking up and it's your fault and I hate you, you say like, we're going on different journeys now and I respect
Your
everything
journey.
we've been through
yeah.
and everything we will go through now alone.
I'll
I
see you
resent
in the
anything-
hemp aisle.
I resent anything prefaced with journey. My journey. It's so new agey and pretentious.
Meg, we're
Well,
on a
that's why people
podcasting
don't
journey
like-
together.
It's true.
But yeah, the main gist of this article is that like people really hate Gwyneth Paltrow and they really
Mhm.
hate Goop and they click.
Can't stop clicking.
yeah, they can't stop, which is like a really like, this company is valued at $250 million. It's extremely popular. Even it started out as a newsletter in 2008,
Mhm.
which recommended things like bikini waxes and massages and the best like gel manicure and the best cashmere throw. And it was like all these things that were sort of recipes for like duck ragu and banana nut muffins. But it started in the throes of the financial crisis when people were literally losing their jobs and their homes, and it's been gaining steam ever since. And then in the article reports how like in 2014 Goop became truly weird because she partnered up with this woman who wrote like product copy for the trainer Tracy Anderson. And suddenly there were all these like crazy therapies, like the bad vibes spray that you were supposed to spray your kid with. You remember that? Or
Against, like to protect them from energy vampires, which I could probably use, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I would
then
like
they partnered with Condé Nast briefly, and then that fell through. And the article makes it seem like, which I'm sure is true, that because Goop makes so many like unfounded kind of like wacky quackery-esque claims, that it's not really like appropriate for a legitimate publishing house to be in business with them.
Right.
And also Gwyneth's vision is to have it function more like a catalog where it's like you're reading about the jade egg and you can like buy it at the same time.
It's like Sky Mall.
Yeah, basically.
But
I've been following that woman Shiva Rose on Instagram for years. She's the one that does the whole jade egg in her pussy thing.
Yeah, she's the
she's the healer.
CEO. Yeah. She's you're gonna
it helps prevent uterine prolapse.
Is that even a thing?
I guess so. I don't know.
It must be. I thought it was for Kegels.
It's for Kegels too, but it also helps you control your bladder.
Okay.
So if you have a weak bladder, this might be for you.
I'm so depressed, you guys.
It reminded me. Yeah, I'm depressed.
I'll
too.
put anything in my pussy though.
Yeah,
make this feeling of dread go away.
We're low energy and depressed. I would, you don't. Back in the day before jade eggs, you just put a penis up in there. You threw the hot dog down the hallway. I feel like this jade egg therapy is just an indication that nobody's getting laid anymore.
Don't knock it till you try it, Anna.
Putting a jade egg up in there. Maybe I will be cured of my dependency on male attention if I get one of these like fancy jade eggs.
Up
yeah,
in every orifice.
I'll just like it's like taking pebbles from a koi pond. But it reminds me of that. Remember in the 90s there was a hair club for men, and the guy was like, I'm not only the president, I'm also a client, which is basically what all these women do. They're like, they are the first users of all the therapies.
I'm recommending it because it works for me.
Yeah. But
I mean, maybe 8 years from now someone will be reporting on our empire.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, we just wanted to start a podcast.
And here we are selling Red Scare Shuriken that you can insert into your pussy to really tear up that lining.
I wonder, because Goop, a lot of the supplements are rebranded and sold. The same supplements are rebranded and sold on InfoWars store. I wonder if
Jones hawks the same.
Yeah, I wonder if he has a jade egg equivalent on InfoWars over there.
Like Nootropics, is that one of them?
I don't. Does he sell Nootropics? I don't think so.
Those are like the ones that techies like to do because they make like your brain function better.
I like to do them too.
Oh,
Nootropics. I've never tried them.
You know a lot about acids and stuff. Too.
Actually, Brad gave my mom some like pre-workout this morning. I can't deal with her right now.
She's wired.
She was talking about the patriarchy.
Wow, go off, queen.
But this reminds me, once again, I have to use the N word like once per episode. So we're going to do some neoliberal critique up in here. It reminded me of I've been reading a lot of Christopher Lasch. I've been butt chugging the Christopher Lasch. And it reminded me of something he said about in 1976 in his famous essay, The Narcissist Society, where he talks about how like people are throwing themselves headlong into self-actualization. This was like at the height kind of the hippie movement and the yippie movement. And even back then there was like an inkling of what would become like the self-care craze, because people were experimenting with all these new kind of like beauty routines and physical therapies. And he talks about how self-actualization has kind of the magical thinking of religion. And so it's the new kind of emphasis on self-care has been compared to religious devotion, but unlike religion, it's completely indifferent to like both posterity and the future. It's like focusing your energies on yourself,
right? And it's like only vaguely metaphysical.
Yeah.
And
but I think the danger with that is that, you know, it's a lot like going to traditional therapy, where there's this idea that you look inward to glean certain insights. But if therapy, I think, primes people to lie to themselves and others better, self-care basically encourages people to look inward and be completely preoccupied without really gaining any insights. Like, you're basically just buying.
Right.
But what I do like about Gwyneth Paltrow, which I agree with you on, is that she's so completely kooky and batshit that you almost can't.
She's living her bliss.
Yeah.
You know?
And I do like that she's never shied away from being aspirational. She's always stuck to her guns, that she was going to be like annoyingly, insufferably tone deaf.
It'd be more insulting if she, you know, was pretended like she was a plebeian like the rest of us.
Yeah, if she was like on her like Meryl Streep high horse.
Yeah, no, she's like, yeah, my smoothie costs $25, and maybe one day if you try hard enough, you could have one too.
I do wonder what like Gwyneth Paltrow's inner life is like.
Yeah.
Well, weird enough that Chris Martin wouldn't have anything to do with this article.
I thought he was in the article.
No,
he told her, I don't want. She wrote, which I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I guess you are. She said that she met him. He saw her tape recorder and said, "Please don't include me in your article." But that just, you know, could make sense. And I don't know. He's still around. You know, they're co-parenting. They seem.
Apple and Moses. I will raise you, Zizek and Acai. Fellas, if any of you are a tech entrepreneur and wants to get me pregnant, now is your chance.
Bust inside, my friend Anna.
Oh God. I think that the Goop guide to snacking this week was pretty insightful. I read an article.
I'm gonna take a look at that.
There was a brownie hummus on there, which is fucking disgusting.
Go on.
That sounds, yeah. You could use it as lubricant.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm extremely dehydrated from crying, and I would love actually to get some kind of expensive juice.
Yeah. Well, march yourself on over.
Yeah, go to the juicery. They'll take all your money.
All right, guys. Well,
I'll pay any price.
Once again, we have a live show coming up on August 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn. We promise it will be much more high energy.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We might even show some skin. And also, Dasha and I are going to be on Mike Racine's podcast, The Sit Down, next week, if you want to listen to us talk about organized crime with our vocal fry.
On Wednesday.
Yeah. And did you talk more about the restaurant experiences?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect.
I'm like trotting out all my old anecdotes. I'm like a broken record of like fucking shitty Sopranos references that I've grafted onto my hostessing life.
I got Anna that job, and I think you actually might have liked it more than podcasting.
I most certainly didn't. But anyway.
What's better than podcasting?
Yeah, there's something better than podcasting.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in hell.
Bye.
See you in hell.